This is CBS.
You're watching Indiana's own Wish TV Channel 8.
You're watching Indiana's only 24-hour television news service, closed caption for the hearing impaired. Now, Mike Ahern, Debbie Knox, weather with Cliff Nicholson, and the sports team of Fred Kalil and Mark Patrick. Live from Wish TV, this is 24-hour News 8.
Good evening. It's been a night of waiting at the courthouse in Anderson. Jurors in the trial of Dr. Pravin Tucker began their deliberations late this afternoon, and they've been at it ever since.
News 8's Rick Dawson has been covering the trial of the Franklin doctor accused of performing illegal abortions, and Rick joins us now live from Anderson. Rick?
Hi, Ken. 6.5 hours of waiting and still no word, still no verdict from this Madison Circuit Court jury. After 4 hours of deliberation, the jury began closing arguments at 4:30 this afternoon. They heard from the 7-woman, 5-man jury. They heard final words from both sides of this case at that time. Prosecutors reminding them of the testimony of 3 former lovers. 2 say they became pregnant before Tucker performed abortions without consent. Another claiming Dr. Tucker tried but failed to perform an abortion. Defense attorneys, meanwhile, told jurors that these accounts are fabrications by jilted women seeking revenge against Tucker. As we come back live now, there are only a few lights on in this Madison County Courthouse. One of those lights is in the jury room, 4 floors above us right now, where 12 people are deciding the fate of Dr. Tucker. The defense attorneys, the prosecutors, the judge aren't even in this building. They've left for the evening, and until at least they hear word from this jury where they will return. Dr. Tucker himself is still here, however, waiting, and we will wait as well. If there's a verdict, we'll bring it to you sometime during this half-hour show. If not, during our 24-hour news service through the night.
Okay, Rick Dawson reporting live from Madison County. Thanks.
The state legislature goes back into session tomorrow, seeking a budget agreement and facing a midnight deadline imposed by House Speaker Mike Phillips. Jim Scheller reports the efforts tonight to forge that compromise led to a rare display of emotion.
The most recent in a series of nighttime meetings at the State House produced the latest surprise in this remarkable session of the General Assembly.
And I made the observation in the last couple of days of some young people that don't get in politics if you got principles.
The man, sometimes referred to as the Clint Eastwood of the Senate, showed some of the strain of a second special session as he offered an apology for behavior earlier in the day.
It seems to me things are kind of getting out of hand.
At an afternoon meeting, Lawrence Borst had blurted out a barnyard epithet and then threatened to get personal with Pat Bauer, the chairman of a conference committee considering the budget. This time, the powerful chairman of the Senate Finance Committee addressed a hushed room.
Seeing myself on television tonight and listening to a crying wife, it's kind of tough.
Borst also offered his most direct response yet to charges that he and his GOP colleagues are trying to drag out budget talks until the government is forced to shut down.
Lord knows if anybody in the Democrat Party thinks that we Republicans want to test the governor and see what he can do on July 1st, they are sadly mistaken.
Remove the emotion, and the facts are the Republicans and Democrats are no closer to an agreement. The negotiations continue. At the State House, Jim Scheller, Wish TV, News 8.
If no budget agreement is reached tomorrow, House Speaker Phillips has said he will consider putting an end to this second special session.
Well, coming up, a volcano in the Philippines blows up. We'll have that story, but right now, here's meteorologist Cliff Nicholson with first weather. Cliff?
Finally, a little rain fell in the city this afternoon. As you can see over the past 12 hours here, there's that thunderstorm that moved through this afternoon, and we also have some right on its heels. Check out Doppler radar right here, kind of active. For you folks up north, you're getting a pretty good lightning show right now in Boone County, over into Hamilton County, down south into Morgan County. Hefty cells, and they're all moving to the east at approximately 25 miles per hour. It looks like Indianapolis, the center part of the city, is going to miss this particular storm. The first forecast for us this evening, isolated thunder showers, temperatures near 70 degrees. By the time you get up tomorrow, well, partly sunny, temperatures then in the upper 60s. We'll have a lot more in just a couple of minutes.
A huge explosion has rocked Mount Minatubo, a volcano in the Philippines that's been spewing ash and lava for the past few days. Earlier tonight, a plume of ash and steam shot 50,000 feet into the air, visible as far south as Manila, which is 60 miles away. Just yesterday, about 15,000 people evacuated Clark Air Base because of the threat of an actual eruption. More than 1,000 essential personnel still remain on base for security reasons. There are reports tonight that the roads leading away from the area are jammed with traffic as residents flee in fear from the eruption.
2 small children are dead tonight in Houston, killed in a shootout between their father and police. Police say they were in the street when the father shot one of the children himself. By the time it was over, 1 toddler was dead, a baby and the father were critically wounded. The baby later died at the hospital, but the father remains in critical condition. There are reports the man had been fighting with the children's mother when he took them hostage. Some witnesses claim police fired the first shot, but officers say they were fired upon first. So far, savings and loans in Indiana have not been affected much by the mismanagement and corruption striking those in other parts of the nation. But Hoosiers could soon be paying a very high price for the federal bailout of those institutions. Today, the government's top auditor shot down hopes that the bailout would cost only about $50 billion. Charles Bowser told Congress the real price tag will be in the neighborhood of $150 billion by 1992. Now, for each of us, that could amount to an extra $1,300 on our tax return. $85 billion alone will have been spent on the bailout by the end of this year.
Well, the battle between Eli Lilly and Company and the Church of Scientology heated up in the pages of USA Today. The Scientologists took out this full-page color ad in today's issue, an ad costing thousands of dollars, slamming Lilly's record with the FDA over Oraflex. Well, this time Lilly responded in the editorial pages of USA Today, attacking the church's stance on the drug Prozac and the practice of Scientology itself. Lilly Vice President Mitch Daniel says people should understand that the Church of Scientology is no church. It's a commercial enterprise organized for the single purpose of making money. Daniel added that the Scientologists have attacked other drugs and psychiatry in general, saying each patient saved by psychiatry or therapy is one less victim for the church. Well, coming up on News 8 at 11 o'clock, authorities look for the person who set an East Side fire in which one man died.
And the Indianapolis Water Company is seeking a hefty increase in the rates it charges. Those stories and much more when we come back.
The last bell has rung for the only school in Chesterfield. I'm Leslie Olson. Coming up on News 8, the community-wide farewell.
The best brands are better at Fredder. A Zenith 27-inch TV with remote control and sleep timer. Nobody beats Fredder. A Magic Chef Deluxe gas range with designer white exterior. Nobody beats Fredder. A Packard Bell 386 SX personal computer. Nobody beats Fredder. That's why it's always better to shop at Fredder.
Tonight, investigators are trying to determine who set a fire that killed an Indianapolis man and forced 8 families to relocate. It happened at the Hawthorne Manor apartments on the city's east side. Officials say evidence indicates someone poured a flammable liquid on the hallway carpeting and a stairwell and then ignited it. 59-year-old Joseph Smith was killed. He worked as a maintenance man for the complex. Police are still looking for the arsonist tonight. The fire caused an estimated $60,000 in damage.
Well, something firefighters couldn't do without is water. Tonight, Indianapolis Water Company customers had a chance to air their feelings about a proposed rate increase, the largest in 15 years. Our Liz Daly was on hand as a case was made for and against raising the cost of using water.
For some reason, most of us don't think about conserving water like we do electricity or gas. But if the Indianapolis Water Company has its way, we may want to start keeping tabs on just how much water comes out of the tap.
And this is part of the reason. The White River North Project, a new $30 million water purification and pumping station that provides an additional 25 million gallons of water a day.
We will not need any additional major capital construction through the year 2000.
But for now, the water company wants to recoup some of its expenditures through a 24% rate increase to its 209,000 customers. For example, if your water bill is $15 a month, The increase would be $3.60 for a monthly total of $18.60.
Has enjoyed with the water.
First, the request must be approved by members of the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, who this night took in testimony from both sides.
Recently, the water companies come out there, made a lot of improvements on it, which brought up the pressure, improved the service to the people in our area.
Others, however, feel there hasn't been enough improvement in the local water supply.
Consumers, I find it hard to believe I'm the only person in Indianapolis who can't stand to drink the water, and I really think it smells and tastes obnoxious.
But the majority who testified here were supporters who say it's a small price to pay for water supply designed to last at least until the year 2060, a small price for the service it provides in emergencies, homes, and businesses. In Indianapolis, Liz Daly, Wish TV, News 8.
A decision is expected by the end of the summer. Part of the increase would also pay for a new envelope billing system set to begin July the 1st.
Well, Debbie, Indianapolis is launching a new neighborhood rehabilitation project it hopes will spark greater community involvement. The city has targeted 4 neighborhoods in which to renovate homes, as well as make improvements on curbs, sidewalks, sewers, and police protection. The $10 million program was unveiled this afternoon in the Mapleton Fall Creek community. The first phase will also include the near West Side, Highland Brookside, and Fountain Square.
Well, the last day of school is usually the day that many students anticipate all year, and even many teachers will tell you that by June they're ready for a break. But that wasn't the case in the tiny community of Chesterfield in Madison County today. As News 8's education reporter Leslie Olson explains, when the town's only school closed, generations of people were in tears.
Kyle! Seth! Seth, where are you?
This was the last day of school at Chesterfield Elementary. Forever. After 61 years, the school is being retired. Folks came from near and far to say goodbye.
Oh, bless your heart. It's so good to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Betty Gibson has taught generations of 4th graders at Chesterfield for 34 years.
It's a town school. I thought it would always be here as the focal point for our town.
We have a lot of conveniences. We have a grocery store and a post office and a school until today, everything that we felt we needed.
Students took the community on a sentimental journey that began in 1930.
There were 4 rooms, 2 grades to each room. The community had about 300 people, and everyone knew everyone else.
That community spirit was recently rekindled during a feudal battle with the Anderson School Board.
They did talk about rebuilding and then tearing our section down. We were hoping they would.
That was just to get your hopes up.
As a final tribute to Chesterfield, the children sang songs from the school's 6 decades of community service. Everything from the polka to the theme from Miss America was included.
There she is, Miss America.
Ready, aim, fire, fire, fire.
Good now, okay.
And finally, the toughest lesson of all was learned at Chesterfield. Nothing lasts forever.
Bye-bye. We'll see some of you next year, I hope. Bye-bye.
Leslie Olson, Wish TV, News 8.
The students from Chesterfield will be bused next year to other Anderson School Corporation schools. As for the school building, well, its future is uncertain.
It's a sad story, isn't it?
It is.
The latest on the space shuttle mission, and meteorologist Cliff Nicholson has our weather forecast. It's all coming up when we come back.
Today, on the 7th day of the Space Shuttle Columbia's mission, astronauts briefly freed 2 rats on board to test their ability to handle animals in space. Pictures of the floating rats, which are from the IUPUI School of Dentistry, were not sent back to Earth, though. NASA didn't want to offend animal rights activists. The crew also found space travel had an effect on jellyfish. Instead of bobbing up and down, the jellyfish swam in circles.
What do you know?
Interesting, yeah.
Usually if it rained on a day, we'd say rats, Cliff, but we needed it today.
Yeah, we did get a little bit coming through town here. Cornersville picked up about 1/3 of an inch of rain. Marshall, Indiana, about a 1/4 of an inch of rain. We didn't get too much here. You folks in Noblesville right now, I know you can see the lightning outside. You're going to get a little bit more before the evening's over. How do we do as far as our temperature extremes today? The high temperature this afternoon popped up to about 83 degrees, and that after a low this morning of 65. At the airport, 7/100ths of an inch of rain, not too very much. Here at the station, we picked up about 2/100ths of an inch of rain, but that's better than nothing, for heaven's sake. Right now, under mostly cloudy skies, the temperature is 69 degrees, dew point temperature at 66. The relative humidity up there this evening, 90%. Winds out of the southwest at 12 miles per hour, and the barometer says 29.97, and it's currently steady. Take a look at some cloud cover over the nation past 24 hours. Things are clear up there in Wyoming as well as Idaho and Oregon and the like. We head back to the east and we can see those clouds associated with the showers and thunderstorms that move through Indiana. Let's go beneath the clouds on radar, see what's happening across the country. Harrington, Kansas, heaviest rainfall today in 1 hour. Folks there picked up as much as 2.5 inches of rain. And up in Cambridge, New York, golf ball size hail reported. All right, let's check out Doppler one more time, see where that big hefty cell is. Right now it's moving, as you can see, right near Noblesville now, again to the east at approximately 35 miles per hour. Here's one that's getting ready to come in, just a small one, into northwestern Marion County, and these appear to be dying down. I've been watching these for the past, half hour, and they're kind of dying down here. Also some showers down south. Again, all these guys are moving off to the east. Current temperatures throughout the region right now, 70s to the west here. Chicago coming in with 70 degrees, while South Bend is 67, 65 in Fort Wayne. Down south in Evansville, 74 degrees. Past couple of days, I've been talking about a cool front here. Associated with it, it's actually a dividing line between moist air and dry air. This air associated with the front is not very cool. It'll be moving down over the state tomorrow, and as it does, that's going to be a pretty nice day. Maybe still a threat of showers in extreme southern Indiana tomorrow, but the brunt of the moisture will range from the Gulf Coast up the Atlantic coastal areas, while back to the west with this front here, some showers and thunderstorms in that region. Forecast high temperatures for the nation tomorrow. 60s and 70s in the Pacific Northwest, 100s in the desert Southwest, 90s. Look, they're edging all the way from Texas up into South Dakota tomorrow. Over Indiana, mostly 80s, maybe even some 70s in the extreme northern section of the state. Here's the forecast this evening, Indianapolis. Isolated thunder shower. Now, I think most of it's staying to the north and to the south of the city, so we're pretty well done with the rain today. We'll see a low temperature in the mid to upper 60s tonight, clearing skies by tomorrow. Sunny to partly sunny and pleasant with a high temperature back up to 85 degrees. Wednesday night, partly cloudy and mild with a low in the low 60s. Sunny to partly sunny on Thursday and just a touch cooler with a high of about 82. Extended forecast, keep us dry, it looks like, until the weekend. Then we have a threat of some thunder showers in the afternoon hours. Temperature highs in the mid to upper 80s. We might start getting a little muggy, too, toward the weekend, but that's fine, Freddie. Don't shake your head. We want a little rain in here.
Do we?
we need it.
You know, things seemed a little different in central Indiana today. There was a reason. Fred Kalil is back from vacation, and when we come back, a look at how the Reds came out in Montreal and the rest of the sports. Stay with us. Freddie, I guess this is a sign of how important this series is to many sports fans. It doesn't really resume until tomorrow night. Here we are talking about it.
The hype leading up to it, you know, you gotta spread it out for TV.
Basketball.
As we said earlier, NBC's loving this first year, right?
Sure, it's wonderful.
So we, as a rival network, got to root for 5 games and get them off the air.
That's right.
The Bulls and Lakers play Game 5 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night at the Forum in Inglewood. More bad news for the Lakers, though, who trail 3-1 in the best-of-7 series. Coach Mike Dunleavy says Byron Scott and James Worthy will not play tomorrow night. Meantime, at the Bulls workout today, Scottie Pippen feeling good after his appearance on Arsenio last night. And then watch the crowd following Michael Jordan. Can you imagine trying to get an interview with this guy? Jordan talked about Game 5 and trying to put the Lakers away, avoiding Game 5 on Friday.
I'm certainly trying to put it out of my head. I mean, all you guys, everybody from Chicago has probably already got the parade started, and you know, all they need is a sealed victory.
He's right. A couple of other NBA notes. First, the Washington Bullets traded their 8th overall pick to the Denver Nuggets for high-scoring guard Michael Adams and the 19th pick in the draft. Denver will now choose 4th and 8th. Larry Brown of the San Antonio Spurs has been given permission to talk to the University of South Carolina about its basketball coaching job. Brown has 2 years left on his contract in San Antonio. Tonight in baseball, Cincinnati at Montreal. Watch Eric Davis pulls up lame. Might have been bothered there with a muscle pull tonight. ED always seems to be injured. He's got some bad luck. Anyway, Chris Sabo, 3 hits tonight for the Reds. This one is a 2-run double. Norm Charlton gets the win off the DL. Final 6-1. Reds win. And tonight in Shea Stadium, somebody help this guy find his seat. Look at that. And if you're in it, plan on being bitten. Look at that. No help for the young canine. Kevin McReynolds, a 2-run homer in the fourth. Frank Viola gets the victory for the Mets. 2-1. The Braves lose to New York. On the National League board, Dodgers and Pittsburgh rained out. San Francisco beat the Cubs this afternoon in 10. Roger McDowell walks in the winning run in the 11th. In the American League, the White Sox played in Texas tonight. The Rangers were losers of 8 in a row heading into tonight's game. Now, Lance Johnson, your buddy, Ken Owen, close personal friend of Ken Owen, this guy. You're a big Sox fan.
Oh, yeah. Former college roommates, right? Let's really stretch it out.
Yeah. 61st career shutout for Nolan Ryan. He struck out 10. The guy you saw being struck out was Timmy Raines. Bottom of the 6th, Mike Stanley, a base hit to score Rafi Palmeiro. 2-0. Rangers win. On the scoreboard, Minnesota continues that winning streak. 5-3 over the Yanks. Cleveland over Toronto. Kansas City got 16 hits tonight in shutting out Baltimore. Rochester, the Red Wings, over the Tribe, big time. Finally tonight, it's time for the plays of the day. We'll pick it up with Minnesota's Danny Gladden. He was on camera tonight. What's the first thing Danny zooms in, focuses in on?
Oh.
Yep. They made a movie about her. Stone Cold, I think it was.
Gladden all over.
Whoa! Mike Huff in right field for Cleveland. And we had a great play at the plate. Casey Candell is going to try to score. John Kruk puts his gut behind it. Was Kruk, wasn't it? He's out. Those are the plays of the day.
Was there a relay throw in there? I couldn't
tell.
There
was a relay throw in there.
That was a heck of a
throw.
There was a relay throw.
I'm glad you brought that up. He didn't just...
His gut's not that big.
No.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Patty Spitler with the Entertainment Report when we come back.
Madonna might be getting into a baseball uniform. We'll explain that. Also, Julia Roberts says no to Kiefer Sutherland. We'll have the details in just a moment.
Well, a Hollywood romance appears to have soured, and could Madonna be heading to Southern Indiana?
Patty Spitler has details on those stories in tonight's Entertainment Report, plus a possible presidential bid by none other than rocker Frank Zappa.
Good evening. Some news to settle your day, or maybe make your day. Madonna might be coming to Indiana. Southern Indiana will be the site of a major movie with director Penny Marshall. Deborah Winger will star in the film about a women's baseball team in the 1940s. And now word has it that Madonna will have a part in the show. That means she'll probably be in Indiana for some of the filming. The title of the movie, well, it's appropriate. It's called A League of Their Own. And the pretty woman says no. Julia Roberts has canceled her wedding. Julia and Kiefer Sutherland were slated to get married on Friday with 500 guests at the 20th Century Lot in Hollywood. Now, Julia has postponed the wedding. No word on when the knot will be tied or why the postponement happened in the first place. The word is mum there. The word here is Frank Zappa. How about Frank Zappa for president? The rock star and outspoken freedom of speech advocate is considering running for president. According to Frank, he's called 2 political consultants and is doing a feasibility study to see what it would take to get him into the White House. Zappa says he will run nonpartisan, and the key to his platform is abolishing income taxes. He says, how can I make things worse than they already are? About his chances, Zappa says, they're not good, but a chance is a chance. Well, I guess that sums it all up, huh? Have a good night. Ken and Debbie.
Abolish income taxes.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. It might work. We'll be back right after this.